Hi guys, so I'm going to read Sensation Comics number 4, the Wildcat story. So in this story, there's the first appearance of a really obscure character called Stretch Skinner, who's like Wildcat's sidekick, kind of like Dobie Dickles was to Green Lantern. In the previous Sensation Comics I read, he was in that comic as well. So that's why I wanted to do his first appearance in this one. So I already did the Wonder Woman story for this, so that's the cover for it. And Wildcat. Gorsh! Introducing Stretch Skinner. With light feline tread, Wildcat stalks through the night on the eternal prowl. His prey, crime and injustice. So this is by Irwin Hansen and Bill Finger. He seeks it out in all its hiding places and springs upon it with a death grip to be found only among the denizens of the wilderness. But Wildcat is not the beast he seems to be. No, for he is none other than the Ted Grant, champion prize fighter of the world. Prize fighter and crime fighter, brute perhaps, but a very human brute, for only a man with very humane principles would risk his life time after time to defend justice as does Wildcat. One afternoon as Ted Grant, champion prize fighter of the world, is just about finishing his morning trot. Suddenly, a strange figure joins him. It is a young man so tall and skinny that he seems like a scarecrow on stilts.
What? Who? Gosh, I recognize you, champ. Do you mind if I run beside you for a while, huh? Why not? Are you a prize fighter, too? Gosh, no. I'm a detective. See there? I got me diploma, which says I'm a certified graduate. A detective. I got me a genuine silver-plated badge, too. Say, that's great. Ram Skinner's detective. Uh-oh, there's my trainer. See you again, Skinner. You can call me Stretch, champ. So long. Funny kid. With his diploma from some phony detective school, Stretch Skinner fits him. Certainly is a stretch, all right. It is night. A strange, eerie figure treads ghost-like over the shadowy rooftops. Suddenly, a scream shatters the deadly quiet. A robbery. Help!
The weird figure nimbly swings down from its perch and gives chase to the fleeing thieves. A splash of moonlight reveals it to be Wildcat.
It's Wildcat! Run!
Nearer and nearer draws Wildcat, ever closing the gap, when suddenly he trips over something in his path. That something moves and stretches itself into the longest pair of legs he has ever seen.
Gosh, mister, I sure am sorry. Guess them big feet of mine gets in everybody's way.
The legs stretch into a body, the body of a man, and what a man.
Stretch, I hope you ain't hurt. Say, that is a mighty peculiar outfit you're wearing, mister. Going for a masquerade?
No sense chasing the thieves now, they're gone.
Well, yes, a masquerade, and you? I just got into the city. I'm going to get me a job as a detective.
Well, I gotta be running along to the masquerade ball, you know.
It's been nice meeting up with you. Say, what's your name anyway?
Why, they call me Wildcat.
Wildcat, a neat nickname, huh? I got me a nickname, too. They call me Stretch. Stretch Skinner is the name. Well, have yourself a bang-up time at the masquerade, Mr. Wildcat. Nice feller, but my gosh, he sure seems to be in a powerful hurry to get to the masquerade.
Early the next day, Ted Grant, champion prize fighter, scans the morning paper.
Here it is. A small item at the bottom of the page as usual.
So, jewel robbery. At 8 o'clock last night, thieves broke into the apartment of Mrs. George Lewis, 345 West 106th Street, and escaped with jewelry amounting to $5,000 in value.
Jewel robberies. 15 of them in the past month. All small robberies that don't receive much notoriety. There's something about those robberies that smacks of planning. Careful, deliberate planning. This calls for investigation tonight.
Meanwhile, what has happened to our small-town friend, Stretch Skinner? Let's follow him and for a while see.
Yep, this looks like the place. Are you fellows the private detectives Hogg and Gills? Yes, what can we do for you? I'm one of your graduate pupils. The diploma says if I got enough money, I can buy me a partnership in your detective agency. Another sucker. I'll get rid of him quick. Well, yes, how much money do you have, my boy? I got me about $35 in my pocket. Sorry, my boy, it's not enough. When you get some real money, then come around. Well, I guess I could write me a check for about $2,000, if I wanted to. 2,000? Now that sounds interesting, but very. If you fellers don't want it, I'm going to see some other feller that done make me an offer. Now don't be hasty, young man, let's talk this over.
And after a few minutes of high-pressure salesmanship, Stretch is persuaded to part with a check for $2,000.
Then, I'm a full-fledged private detective, huh? Yes, sir. Hey, by the way, kid, who made you the other offer? Oh, some feller wanted to sell me the Brooklyn Bridge. I sure am glad I didn't buy it. And much rather be a detective. So long, partners.
That night, Ted Grant removes his weird garb from a hollow hidden in his wall.
I'm going to have a busy night.
Exit Ted Grant, prize fighter. Enter Wildcat, crime fighter. His cat foots out into the night to his garage behind the house.
A lot of territory to cover. Got to use my catacycle. I'll visit those 15 jewel robbery victims.
Wildcat's catocycle. An instant later, the eerie motorcycle looms out into the street with like a blurred streak. And no roar from the motor, only a soft durr like that of a cat. So I'm not sure. I'm gonna explain. So I gave Wildcat like the southern accent because in Batman Brave and the Bold cartoon, he had like a southern accent in that cartoon. In the other media, he didn't have a southern accent, but I want to make him like sound different. So I don't know if this is like in a city in the southern United States or if it's in New York because they just said he's gonna sell him the Brooklyn Bridge. So I don't really know where this is set to, but anyway,
holy cats, what was that? Either I'm crazy, it looks like a large cat riding in a motorcycle. Wow. Eek! Don't be frightened, I'm here to help and to ask you some questions. I'm Wildcat.
Wildcat soon calms the terrified woman.
My jewels that were stolen. Why, but they were returned to me.
Returned? How did it happen?
One day after they were stolen, 2 men came to my home. Hogg and Gill, private detectives. You saw the item about their theft in the paper? Yes, and for a stipulated fee, we think we can manage to find them for you. We have access to certain criminal haunts that the police do not possess. Then Giles asked me how much the stolen gems were worth. I should say about $4,000. In that case, our fee will be $1,000. And it wasn't more than 2 days later that I got my jewels back. Those private detectives worked fast.
Yes, very fast. Too fast. Well, thanks for the information. Wildcat races to the other addresses in the list, and all have the same story to tell. Finally, he pays a call to the residence where the gem robbery had taken place only the night before.
Why, yes, Mr. Hogg and Mr. Gill were here this noon, offered to get back my jewels for a certain sum.
Thank you very much. Later,
Messrs. Guile and Hogg didn't lose much time. No doubt they have a safe in their office. This ought to help in opening it.
He clambers up the face of the building, his feet firmly gripping the wedges. He slips through an open window and into the dark, deserted office. The stethoscope-like instrument is attached to the safe door and enables him to hear the fall and click of the lock tumblers. In no time at all, he has the safe door open.
Now, to take a look at these books. Holy cats, a list of future victims. And here's a Mrs. Rothfeld to be robbed on April 21st. And today's the 20th.
Suddenly, the rattle of a key is heard. The door swings open and a man steps into the office. "Someone's in here." Wildcat leaps with the speed of a jungle creature. Surprisingly, the intruder's fist shoots out and sends Wildcat reeling. Smack! Cautious now, the crime fighter ducks beneath another swinging fist and lands a piledriver below on his opponent's jaw. Ugh! He clicks the lights on. Lo and behold, Stretch Skinner.
"Why, still wearing your masquerade costume, Mr. Wildcat? Say, you sure packed a mighty wallop, friend."
"Stretch, what are you doing in here of all places?"
"I belong here. I plunked me down $2,000 and brought me a partnership in this here detective outfit."
Oh, you fool. Oh, how could you know when I didn't know it myself until a little while ago?"
"What are you talking about?"
Wildcat explains.
"Say, those fellows is crooks. But how come you know so much about all this, Mr. Wildcat? Wildcat? Say, you ain't the Wildcat."
"I'm not dressed for a masquerade."
"Gosh, and to think. But what are we waiting for? Let's get the police."
"We need more evidence than this. Now tomorrow night The next night at police headquarters. And then we heard the loud cry of the monster as it tore after the brave detective. Ring! "Who? Mrs. Rothfield? G.B. Morris Street robbery?" And at that very moment,
"It was a cinch job. Instead of returning them, why can't we sell them the stuff? If we sold it to a fence, we wouldn't get much for it. Besides, this way it's safe. The police don't suspect us yet as long as we don't steal too big a haul. The papers won't play it up." What about this Skinner guy?"
"Well, let's let him chase after the few clients that do come in for detectives. He's so thick."
Suddenly,
"Now, that sure is nice of you, gents. Sure is."
"Skinner! Wildcat! Let's take him, Stretch.
I think I'm going to enjoy this. In case you fellers never seen a football game,
here's how it's done. Stretch, here's a football for you."
Thanks. Best drop kick I did in a long time. Just 1 minute there, shorty.
Blast you.
Now, that ain't gonna do you no good, nohow. That's much better. Wham! Bump, bump. I bet a little feller like you never gets a chance to get real close to the ceiling. So here, take a good look."
With a final blow, Wildcat ends the short-lived battle.
I don't know when I enjoyed myself more.
"Well, it looks like this phony racket is through. What are you going to do now, Stretch? Go back home?"
"Gosh, no. If them fellers is out, I intend to run this here detective agency. Stretch Skinner Detective Agency, that's me."
"Fine, Stretch. Anytime you need help, you can call on me."
"That's downright nice of you, sir." Yes, sir. Let's bring 'em on them tough cases. We'll solve 'em."
Right. From now on, it's Wildcat and Skinner against crime. And now keep 'em flying." The next day, Stretch receives a visitor, Ted Grant. "Congratulations, Stretch. Read about you in the papers. Nice work."
"Gosh, you're the champ coming to see me. Gosh."
And after Ted leaves,
"I'm a real detective now with two of the nicest fellers that ever lived as pals. Wildcat and Ted Grant."
Gorsh, you mustn't miss a single adventure of Wildcat and Stretch Skinner for laughs and thrills every month in Sensation Comics. So that's the end of that story. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you could like, comment, and subscribe, that'd be appreciated. Thank you all for watching. I'll see you guys later.